Hey, Sean G here from Chasing the Truth. You're about to get some of the best of samples of shows I've done over the last 5 years. God bless y'all and enjoy. The problem with the energy move. Okay. Well, I will tell you a personal story. This house I live in is about 120 years old, and I have seen, and not on myself, but the other people that have been in this house have seen shadow people in it. There was one in particular recently that occurred to me, and I was asleep in bed, and I woke up and I saw a shadow being at the side of my bed in the corner. And since the NDE, I'm not scared or upset over stuff like that. But I did get a little uptight, and I said, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to find a broomstick and see if I can stick it up, you know what. And then it left. I didn't. The weird thing is with my psychic abilities, I generally can feel a lot of stuff. I didn't feel a lot of stuff off this thing.
Yeah. Well, if you're a threat to them somehow, if they sense you're a threat, they'll leave. But it definitely has to do with the person that is involved with it. Like I said before, if they cannot sustain themselves there, because they basically need energy. They need life force, life energy to sustain themselves. And if you are a threat to them somehow, or you're not able to supply them with what they need, they'll go on to the next place. No. That just seems to be the only way to get rid of them.
Just deny them of what they need.
Deny them what they need.
Okay. Well, let's move on to another little cryptid story I haven't heard about in quite a while. I recently did hear about it. There is a legend of little people that is associated with a lot of North American Indian tribal legends. And do you know anything about that?
Yeah, the Ojibwe, which is a tribe that occupied much of Ontario, Alberta, the northern states, the northern parts of the northern states. They have had a lot of legends concerning these little people, and I had been involved with an investigation in northern Minnesota where these little beings had been showing up. And in fact, I had a few photographs on the website that are supposed to have been these beings. But because of some of the anecdotal evidence from witnesses, I believe they actually saw something. But yeah, the Ojibwe legends of these little people is pretty well known.
Okay. Well, let's see. Are they related to like leprechauns, or are they? Is that the same kind of cryptid?
I don't really know. I guess overall there may be a relationship. Of course, the leprechaun is associated with Ireland, and
right.
It may be more of an indigenous thing or something to do cultural-wise. There are people that swear they see these things. Oh, yeah. I can't say that I have.
I haven't either. I've not seen a Bigfoot or anything like that. Do I believe in them? Yeah, from the people I've talked to, have been eyewitnesses. But I've talked to a couple of people that have witnessed these little people. So I tend to believe some people that I've known for a little bit that they come up and they're truthful in life, and then they come up with these fantastical stories, and you're like, say what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about, let's see, I've got one more question from my fans on Twitter. This is Maryland specific, okay? Does any of the investigations, or has any of the investigations at Point Lookout, has any investigation at Point Lookout Do you know anything about that? Have you investigated Point Lookout in
Well,
Maryland?
Point Lookout is an area. I think that's St. Mary's County. I'm not quite sure,
Mm-hmm.
but it was actually a location where a prisoner of war camp was established by the Union,
Right.
to keep Confederate soldiers. Just like every one of these locations and on both sides, there was a lot of disease and death associated with it. I have heard over the years of a lot of paranormal activity on the Point Lookout area. I have never personally investigated it, but I have heard a lot of different things. And in fact, St. Mary's County has quite a history of paranormal activity because of being a lot of the main location for the New World habitations. Maryland was set up as a Catholic colony in St. Mary's City,
Mm-hmm.
and there has been a lot of activity documented in that area.
Right. And got another one. It's from the same person. Was the Beltsville Goat Man really a dog man?
I don't even know if it was a goat man, to be quite honest with you. I know there were a lot of sightings of this supposed half man, half goat in the area of the Patuxent research area, which was actually it was a lab that was used by the government. I don't know if that was used as an excuse for this being some type of hybrid or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that got away somehow. The goat man was seen in a lot of locations, anywhere from the Patuxent site into Bowie, Maryland, and up north further into Laurel. I have read the investigations. I have read the reports. I don't know what to think about that. There have been Bigfoot activity in the same area over the years.
Mm-hmm.
More recently, about 2 years ago in Laurel, something was seen that looked very much like a Bigfoot. As far as upright canine, supposed dog man,
Okay.
I really haven't heard a lot about any of that activity in that area.
All right. So I know Dogman and Bigfoot and Goatman, and then there's a Bat Squatch, and just totally different types of cryptids, but similar in how they look. Is there like classifications or anything of these types of cryptids? Like, is there different types of dogmen or different types of?
Well, yeah. I mean, here in Pennsylvania, we have been investigating the upright canines in central Pennsylvania over the past 3 to 4 years. There had been a heavy concentration of sightings. I don't know, for about 16 months or so,
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of waned off. We get a sighting every once in a while. In fact, I had a sighting yesterday that was reported to me in the Cambria County area, which is a location where other upright canines have been seen. This one in particular was interesting because it was said to be white in color.
Wow.
But the description, the body description and everything was very similar to what we had been getting before. As far as classifying upright canines, dogman, in our investigation, we have noticed that the so-called dogman is more so a quadruped. It moves mostly on 4 legs, but it's got a look to it that kind of reminds you of a large hyena. The sloping back, the head is not like that of a wolf, but more like I would say like a cross between a domestic dog and a coyote.
Right.
Very, very aggressive. We had an incident in the Tuscarora State Forest a couple of years ago where a hunter was in his tree stand and he noticed that two of these quadrupeds, what he thought earlier were just large coyotes, until one of them had come closer to his tree stand and sat down there, and looked at him. And this thing, he said, when I looked at it, he said it looked just like a hyena, but it had this aspect, a human aspect to it. Now, it never got up on two legs. It was always on four legs. But it really scared the bejesus. In fact, it was the point he had the high power rifle. He was afraid to take a shot at it.
Yeah.
And that does happen.
Well, I personally have spoke to one of my good friends that he does a lot of deer hunting, and obviously he does a lot of tree stand waiting around for some stuff for deer to come by. And he was watching... He's waiting for deer to cross over a couple of hills. He saw a buck and a couple of doe coming after in his general direction. Then they got spooked, and he ran in an opposite direction, like like they were being chased by a predator. Mm-hmm. Then he said that he saw this huge, hairy. He said it looked like a ghillie suit, more or less, just of hair, running faster than he had ever seen anybody run. He crest the first hill and crest the second hill, and then he's like, what the hell was that?
Right.
And then a few minutes later, he come back. He said, I heard some commotion off in the distance, and then he had his rifle with him, obviously, and he was using a scope and looking around and seeing what he could see, and then he saw this hairy whatever. He had draped the buck across his shoulder and was walking toward where he originated, where he first saw him. Have you ever heard of anything like that? Are they that big that they can carry a big buck?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, a lot of times, and I mean, in particular here in Pennsylvania and some down in Maryland, I think there are some misidentifications between Bigfoot and these upright canines in some instances. But these animals are powerful enough to pick up a full-size buck and put it over their shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
With no problem. You know, it's interesting. There's an area west of Gettysburg on Route 30, which is Lincoln Way West, going through an area, Michaud State Park. I don't know if you've ever heard it before, but it's well known for Bigfoot activity. And there has been some upright canine activity as well. But I have heard for years, during the day and at night, where roadkill, where a deer would be hit, that these Bigfoot used to roam up and down the roads just picking up deer, roadkill. Wow. And people would see them take these things and just sling them over the shoulder and walk off. And I'm quite sure that, a huge upright canine would have a problem doing that as well.
Well, considering a hunter, if they're doing it by themselves, they usually have
I have actually heard where a hunter would be dragging a deer and be stalked by one of these things.
Yeah, but they have to field dress the thing first to even get the thing to move. They have to remove the guts and stuff.
Yeah,
they're that heavy. Or if they are lucky enough to have a 4x4 or something like that, get up there and drag it out with ATV. But that's interesting enough. I actually had heard tell that around here in the Virginia, Kentucky area where I live. That same exact kind of deal with those folks.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that many times.
Now, the one thing that I had heard, this probably goes back to maybe classification. My area, they call these things boogers.
Right.
Kind of deal. My grandmother used to regale me of don't go out in the woods too far, the booger might get you. And I never really thought about it until later in my teens, until I found out what a booger was. But other than that, do you know of any kind of activity in the Virginia, Kentucky, kind of Tennessee area that you've recently heard?
Well, maybe not recently, but the Eastern Kentucky area is well known for Bigfoot activity, and in fact, a lot of aggressive Bigfoot activity. Part of my family is from Smoky Mountain area in North Carolina, and just over the border from Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, beautiful country.
In Roan Mountain area.
Yeah.
And I heard all kinds of stories, believe me, from my uncle who had a still in those mountains, and he used to tell me all kinds of crazy stories about these Bigfoot. You know, you're young, you kind of think, the guy's crazy. You know, he's drinking too much of his product. But quite honest, I believe a lot of it now. And you know, I still get an occasional story of these huge Bigfoot in the Alleghenies, or not the Alleghenies, but the Appalachians, because you know, in particular, you know, you're talking about Virginia, the George Washington National Forest, which is in Virginia.
Right.
There's some well-known instances of huge Bigfoot being seen along the Appalachian Trail.
Right.
And there have been some unexplained deaths in that area as well of hikers on the trail. And, you know, you talk to the people that live around there in the hollows and such, and they tell you that these things are there. They have seen them.
Oh, I have no doubt. I've heard about the tales of Bigfoot or the boogers for all my life, more or less.
Oh, yeah.
Within about 15 miles of where I live right now, there is erected a Bigfoot statue or wood booger statue on federal land, on forestry land. So, yeah, that's crazy. So we've got about 10 more minutes. Tell us a little bit about how to get a hold of your books.
Well, you can find all my books on Amazon. The best way to find it is just to search my name, Lon Strickler, and I've got 6 books out now. They're available there. You know, you can buy the paperback or the Kindle version. And the website is phantomsandmonsters.com.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a search tool there. If you just put in what you're looking for, I more than likely have a story about what you're looking for anywhere on there.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, I do offer a free newsletter, which is sent out 5 days a week, and there's usually a weekend edition as well. That's free. All you got to do is go to the right side, the right column of the website, and put your email address in there, and do a confirmation, and you will get it every morning.
Yeah, I actually do subscribe to that, so I get it every day. Except for today, you posted that there wasn't going to be a.
I got busy today. I've been involved in some new projects, and you know, every once in a while, I'm just not able to do it. But you know, that's the way life is.
Oh yeah. Well, Lon, I appreciate your time. I really do, man. I've really enjoyed talking to you and learning a little bit about your perspective on phantoms and monsters and also NDEs. Hopefully, in the future, we might get back together again and talk a little bit about more of what you know about a particular subject of the day, or what you've written about, if that is up to you. But this is Sean Graham with Chasing the Truth, and my special guest was Lon Strickler. Again, I'm going to plug your website. It is phantomsandmonsters.com. Please go by there, look up his content there. Easy to find. Obviously, if you look up anything with paranormal, you'll probably wind up back on his Phantoms and Monsters blog. I do. On several days a week, wind back up there. But Lon, I really appreciate you, man. Hope you have
Thanks
a good
for having me.
weekend, and hopefully we'll talk again later sometime.
Sounds good.
All right. You have a good weekend.
You take care now.
Thank you.
Mm.
Hey, Sean G here from Chasing the Truth. You're about to get some of the best of samples of shows I've done over the last 5 years. God bless y'all and enjoy.